everyone for joining us for our AMP masterclass today. Today we have Matthieu Clave. He will be teaching two classes today on articulation for flute. Our class at 4 p.m. is for intermediate flute students, articulation techniques for intermediate students. And at 5 p.m. we have a class on articulation for advanced students. So we encourage any flute students to join and learn about articulation with our teacher. Matthieu is our AMP flute teaching artist, and he's got a great presentation prepared for us today. So I'll put it over to Matthieu.
Thank you very much, Lily, for the introduction. And thank you for having me, and thank you for joining us for this conversation around the articulation on the flute. And if you're not a flute player, I hope you find elements you can apply to your instrument. Also, if you have any questions during the masterclass, please feel free to chat with us. We will do our best to respond. And if there is something you do not understand, I understand my accent can be sometimes a challenge, or just the connection, let's call it the internet connection. Then again, feel free to let us know that you didn't understand or you want maybe a clarification, and we'll do our best to do that. All right? So the topic of the day is articulation. What is articulation? I see articulation as the way you shape sounds, because when you do your fingering and you blow in the instrument, you create a sound. But how do you create music out of this sound? And I really feel that why we use articulation is really to shape and make it each note special and convey even more emotion and serve the music even better. So to start this class, I chose Frère Jacques because it's a song most of us know from childhood, and it's very easy to play. So you should have the music on your screen so that you can join along. All right, we are in G major, and we start in the low register. This melody was played legato. Why did I choose to start with this articulation? So first, let's define articulation. What words come to your mind when you hear articulation? And I would think that most of the time we think legato versus staccato. It's either one or the other, right? So to play legato, what we need is to connect the notes to each other. And that requires a really good support. By that, I mean that the air pressure and the air speed is always fast. Because if you play in a bumpy way, even though you connect the notes, you'll see that the quality won't be the same. You see, I did not interrupt the sound with my tongue, but because the air support was not good enough, the quality of the legato was suffering. So I think it's really important that we start today by practicing playing Frère Jacques, and at least pay attention to the connection between each note.
Matthieu, can you say that one more time and speak a little bit louder or a little bit closer to the microphone?
Yeah, of course. So I chose to play Frère Jacques legato, because to play legato, you need a good support, a good air support, which means that the air speed is always consistent and you use the right pressure of air between the notes. Because the tendency we have when we play the flute is to blow more on each single note and drop between the notes. And usually that sounds like this. This is a caricature, but I really feel that it reveals an issue with generally encounter with flutists. So to work on this, let's go on Frère Jacques and very slowly play it and listen carefully to what is happening between each note and blow consistently to avoid the tone quality suffer. You see, I didn't play with the vibrato. I chose to focus on the core of the sound, listening to what was happening during the note. If you played this at home, what did you observe? Did you hear or feel that the airstream was consistent? Or did you feel sometimes the air pressure was going down and then back up? Does that make sense? You slowly?
Absolutely. And I should say that if you're in our class and we have, and if you're a flute player, we have the exercises pulled up here, so you can follow along with what we're playing. So we just played section A, the first exercise, Frère Jacques. And so please, yes, pull out your flute if you have it, if you're a flute player. If you're not a flute player, a flute plays in concert pitch. So if you're able to transpose, feel free to do so. But yes, this is an interactive class, so please have your flutes out.
All right, so let's try that one more time together, playing from section A. So we play forte. I did not play forte, but let's play forte. That will also help us keep in mind that we need to blow the air fast. All right. To have a large tone, you need a lot of air, and also you want to be fully relaxed. One of the main issues we have is tension in the throat. And when you practice slowly, you have time to be mindful on how you feel. Do you feel any tension in the throat? Do you feel any tension in your back? Because these tensions are not unbearable, that's right, but they affect your tone. And honestly, if you have to play your instrument for 4 hours, which I hope you do every day, but all jokes aside, if you play the instrument for just even a rehearsal of 2 hours, you want, at the end of the 2 hours, to be still happy and not uncomfortable because of any tension you may have accumulated. So it's very important that when you practice your flute or your instrument, like you take the time to check in. How do you feel? Are you fully relaxed? And if you're not, it's all right. Just take a break, breathe in, and then take back your instrument and try again. Once you're happy with the quality of your tone and you feel that your air is flowing freely from the bottom to the top and go to the word freely, then you start using your tongue. And here is, before jumping to the section B, we're going to play the section A, and as we play legato, we're going to add some tongue movements. So basically, we're going to play tenuto. So, but the movement of the tongue should be very gentle. of the most common mistake I hear is flutists using the tongue to create the tone. By that I mean, to play, I was playing in the low register, but if I play an octave higher, I will need more pressure. Very often we hear flutists using the tongue very, strongly to create more pressure. So of course they get the high pitch they were aiming for. But again, the quality of the tone is suffering. It sounds harsh or kind of hard. So let's try now A, one octave higher. Still using the tongue, but very gently. And the tone is created with the air pressure, all right? So think legato with a small movement of the tongue. How does that feel for you? Do you feel that it's easy, or that as soon as you start using the tongue, it's not as legato? I mean, if it's okay if you don't feel comfortable yet. But try this exercise and observe. Even I would suggest, journal, make notes of how you feel, what you hear, because all of this information will really help you grow. Because tomorrow, when you practice, you will use these notes to modify how you play. Or if one day you find a great idea, then you can reapply it or apply it somewhere else and benefit from it. Again, once you're happy about your tone, keep moving forward. So let's move to section B. In this section, we are playing staccato.
So Matthieu, can we have, before you move on, I was wondering if you wanted to have a student play A for us?
Yes.
Because we have some student volunteers. And also, could you move a little bit closer to the mic when you're speaking? We can hear your flute just fine. It sounds beautiful, but the voice is a little bit low.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. So let's see. I'm going to see if we can get a volunteer to come on. Let's see.
I heard that Nia wanted to volunteer.
Yeah, I'm going to message her really fast. All right.
I will also make another note. Practice, really keep in mind that everything we do is about music. So be musical. Even when you play your scales, you want to play musically. Otherwise, what you're doing is not really useful.
All right, I'm still waiting to hear back. So I think we can go on to B for now. And we can hopefully get someone on soon to play A or B, or both A and B.
Okay. But yeah, honestly, be courageous, try, volunteer, because I can hear you and I can give you some free feedback, courtesy of Atlanta Music Project. Let's go to section B. In this section, we are playing staccato. When we think that staccato, most of the time we think about short, and that's not untrue. Yet, if we are playing short, we still need the same amount of air, okay? Because you don't want the note to be dead. And we are woodwind players. So if we don't have wind, we don't have any sound. So keep this in mind when you play staccato.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we have Nia on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have Nia on actually now.
Good news. Welcome, Nia.
Do you see her? Hi, Nia. Can she hear us? I'm going to unmute her.
Thank you for volunteering, Nia.
Yeah.
So, Nia, could you please play section A of Frère Jacques for us? Congratulations, Nia. Very good.
Really nice.
And as I was listening to Nia playing, I thought, oh, we have a few challenges that I didn't think about when I chose that piece. So intervals on the flute are not very easy. So playing legato on neighboring notes like G, A, B, that's easy. That's fairly easy. Don't you agree, Nia? But playing legato when you have leaps, for instance, the last two measures of A from G to low D, that's a challenge. And again, you need the right amount of pressure of air and the right quantity so that each note speaks well, but also the connection between the notes is fluent. So that's another aspect of playing legato that we need to keep in mind as we practice. So great job, Nia. Thank you. All right, so getting back to B with this reminder of what playing legato implies, let's try to play staccato, and we're going to start by playing forte. When I play staccato, I think legato. By that I mean, again, I'm thinking about the way I blow if I was playing legato. And then I add the tongue as a kind of a valve opening and closing the airflow. So the tongue is not pushing the air outside of my mouth. The tongue is releasing the air, which means that each note will be short because that depends on the movement of the tongue, but the tone will be rich and warm. Otherwise, it would be very, dry and not very defined, not very precise. And we need precision, especially when we play in an ensemble, like a band or orchestra. Our articulation needs to be very clear and precise. Now, let's try to play this piano. Have you noticed any challenges when you play piano versus when you play forte? Any comments, any answers, anyone raising their hands? All right. So usually when we play forte, we tend to play longer notes. So it's very important to play every exercise you have, no matter the articulation that you're practicing. I really encourage you to practice the extremes. You want to practice fortissimo with your tuner, of course, and practice pianissimo as soft as you can. And I promise you it will be uncomfortable. But you will gain a better mastery of your instrument and your capabilities. Because let's be honest, we all can play mezzo forte very well, but it's another challenge when we have to play fortissimo or pianissimo in tune with a consistent tone and consistent articulation. So in the safety of your house, practice it. Even if that's not fun, you will benefit from it. So let's try again section B, forte, and this time have in mind, listen carefully about the length of each note and compare to the note before and try to anticipate the following note. And this time we're going to go slower. I think I played the 16 notes too fast. All right. How was it for you? Do you feel like it's a lot of work, or were you able, to stay focused and really control every single note? If you feel like it's a lot of work, don't worry about it. Just try, small sections. Let's maybe do the first 2 measures of B. And once you feel confident that you play them with the same articulation and each note has the same length, then start expanding. 3 measures, 4 measures, and so on. Mm-hmm. Start with, because we are all at a different stage in our journey learning music, because we all learn music. It's a lifetime journey. So no matter where you are, start today and, go as long as you can. So if today you can only do 2 measures, do the best 2 measures you can, okay? Mm-hmm. And of course, it's not the type of practice you can do for 20 minutes. So, it's better to have like a good 5 minutes where you're really focused and, full of energy than trying to drag it over 20 minutes and you're exhausted. And at the end of the 20 minutes, you have not accomplished as much.
Definitely.
And I hope I'm making sense here.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So now let's try again to play staccato and piano. So I said that usually when we play forte or staccato tends to be longer. Since in the lower register, we tend to have the same issue with the piano dynamic. Because playing short notes, because you basically need to feel the whole instrument when you play low notes. So the air needs to travel more into your flute. So it takes more time. So to compensate, we elongate the notes and then we lose the staccato articulation. So when you play low staccato, be mindful also about the length of the note and try to keep it short. Let's do this slowly. Does anyone want to try either forte or even fortissimo or pianissimo? And, not with the, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try and we can listen together and find ideas to even improve it. Any volunteers out there? No volunteers. It's all right. So let's move to the next section, which is another type of articulation. I would say it's not the articulation that we play by default. Well, it's not really short, it's not really long. But this one is tenuto. Do you have volunteers?
All right, Matthieu. I'm sorry, I was muted before, but we are trying to bring Mia on to play exercise B.
Excellent.
I think she's not quite ready, so we can move on. And when she's ready, we can bring her back on to play B.
Sounds perfect. Yes, thank you. So in section C, we are going to play tenuto. So again, it's all about consistency and a beautiful tone. Okay, let's play it once forte.
Matthieu, I'm sorry, we can't hear you at all.
Oh, at all?
We heard you playing, but what you said right after you played, we couldn't hear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you say that one more time? No, it's fine.
I was saying that the tenuto is important to practice as well, in addition to legato and staccato.
Definitely.
Really know and feel how you're doing it. And so it's not your articulation by default, but when you choose to play it, you have a clear idea of how you're achieving it. What is your tongue doing in the mouth? For instance, I didn't talk about it, but when I play staccato, my tongue is faster than when I play tenuto. So when I play staccato, my tongue is, hitting the back of my teeth. Well, da, da. Okay. When I play tenuto, it's more da, 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 da. Even if you say it, ta, it da, ta, da, are two different sounds. So as they have different sound as we speak, they also have a different sound as we play. They impact the result. So keep this in mind as well when you practice articulation. Try to use different vowels, sounds like ta, da, da, do, and explore and see what works the best for you, and also what serves the best, the result you're trying to achieve. What works great for the staccato will not work for another articulation. And that's what is so fun about practicing is you're exploring yourself, your instruments, and it's kind of chemistry. And it's unique to you as well. So we are giving you tools today that work for me and work for most of us, but there are things that may not work for you as well. So, use the tools we've given you today and explore around it and see what works for you. Let's try the tenuto articulation piano. again, playing contrasting dynamics is very important because it poses the challenge we'll face playing this articulation forte are not necessarily the same as when you play them piano. And of course, play this exercise with a tuner and cover 2 octaves. So let's play that now 1 octave higher, forte. Now let's do the same thing, piano. All right, do you have any questions regarding section C or section of the previous sections? Or any volunteers willing to try?
I might try to bring Nia back on and see. Nia, can you hear us?
Yes.
Do you want to say something for us?
Like what one?
You could have her play B or C.
I would like to try to play staccato for us.
Yeah, so that's exercise B. Nia, can you see exercise B?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And should she play at piano or forte this time?
She's free to choose.
Oh, free to choose. Nia, you can pick piano or forte, whichever one. And you can pick your tempo also.
Okay.
Good. Can you keep going?
Oh,
Do you see it at the bottom? It splits the page. But yeah, you got it. Right at 13.
Don't worry about the 16.
Yeah.
Good job, Nia. Thank you. Nia, could you please play that again, but 1 octave higher? Wonderful job, Nia. Thank you. Nia, question for you. Do you think you could play even shorter?
yes.
Oh, okay. Did you try? Just the first 2 measures of B.
Just the first 2 lines.
Yeah, or even just the first measure of B. Can you try even, please, shorter? Very much. Could you explain to us how you did it?
My tonguing was sharper.
Excellent. All right. So when you play staccato, make sure you use that specific tonguing, very sharp tonguing, like you said, to play staccato. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, good job. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you, Mia.
Let's move to section D. So
Can I ask one more thing? We have a student that's going to join AMP next year who wants to play A. Would that be okay if we had a student come on to play A?
I would be happy to, yes, and welcome aboard. We're happy to have you at AMP next year.
All right. I'm excited. Okay.
What is the student's name?
Her name is Yanissa.
Lisa.
Let me see if she's able to talk.
Thank you for joining us.
Yanissa? Let's see, I'll unmute her. Yanissa, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, great, great. So can you see exercise A?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to play it for us?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Good. Can you play the next line? Da, da, da.
Right now, I'm still practicing that, but
That's okay.
All right.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
That's not funny, Grandma.
Hi. Yeah, thank you for joining. Yeah, this is a great place to learn more about articulation. Do you have any questions about the exercise or about tonguing or anything?
No. Well, my grandpa does want to know where I can find like the music or somehow.
Yeah, so we can send you copies of the music also. If you send a chat to us of your email, I'll make sure that you get everything that we covered today in the class.
Ask her, does she have your email?
Wait, do you have my email?
Can you send a chat with your email to the panelists?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Awesome. That's awesome. And we'll send you the music.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any more questions about the exercise?
When are you going to have another class?
Well, my grandma has one more question, and it's when you guys are going to have another flute class.
Well, we have a class for advanced articulation at 5.
Yeah, we'll tune in.
So please tune in and listen. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll tune in and listen. Now, what about
exercise.
intermediate? Anything next week?
We'll send out schedules. We'll send out some more schedules with more classes next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for playing.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye. All right.
To finish this masterclass on articulation, I wrote an original piece for you. So I'm not a composer, but I can write a few notes. The goal of this exercise is to compile a few articulation that we talked about, which are staccato, legato, and mezzo. And as we did previously, play it fortissimo, as long as your family and neighbors tolerate it. Play it pianissimo, and do them both with your tuner, always. And then do the same thing, soft. All right, So this music is for you to enjoy, to practice. Any comments or questions?
Let's see. I don't think we have any questions yet.
All right. But I would add to those of you who have juries and auditions coming up, when you have side readings, please, number one rule is you're here to make music. So even though you're concerned about playing the right note, be more concerned by playing music. It has to be musical. The point number two I really want to drive home is play the articulation as written. You know, it may sound just an aesthetic effect. No matter what you feel about the articulation, please follow them because they are part of the intention of the composer. And as musicians, our role is just to serve the composer and his work. So if he goes to play this line legato, this one staccato, or add accents, they are not minor details. They are fully part of the music you are playing. So as much as you can, when you side read, please play all of these details. They will really make a difference in if you pass the audition or not.
Definitely, yeah. When Nia came on, yeah, we heard her play the slurs and A and the articulations and B, you know, that's definitely part of the music. And she was sight reading, you know, so you got to be ready to play the slurs when they're written and play the staccatos, play the tenutos as they're written as part of the music. Definitely, it's important. That's good. So we've got about 1 more minute left. If you have any parting words to say, or if you wanted to play the crosswalk piece, or if you have anything you want to cover in the next minute or so, and if anyone has any questions in the next minute, I've got the chat pulled up.
All right. I will keep the crosswalk for the next class. So if you want to hear it, stay tuned.
There we go. Yeah, we've got another piece. You should see it on your screen. It'll be covered at the end of the next class.
And if you, I will leave you with this fun articulation which is called flutter-tongue. So if you speak Spanish or learn Spanish, you know the sound r, right? So the flutter-tongue is just using that r as we play.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's called flutter tonguing. If anyone didn't hear that, it's an advanced articulation technique, and it sounds very cool. So if you can roll your R's, and once you've mastered tonguing, the next step, you can try flutter tonguing. So please, everyone, stay tuned for the 5 p.m. class. It's a different Zoom link. You should find it in your email that we sent out to everyone. And I will be sending out the exercises that we covered today to everyone's email, so you'll have it to practice at home. Thank you so much for joining. If you haven't sent me your email already, if you're not an AMP student and you haven't sent your email out already for us to send the exercises to you, please chat it to us in the next few minutes before we log off. Thank you so much for this class, Matthieu. For everything. Thank you very much, Tina, for volunteering, being our brave volunteer. Please stay tuned. Join us for the next class.